one of us faints?
Oh, I am so honored, dude.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 50 fan theories that turned out to be true. For this list, we're examining a mix of theories about video games, cartoons, anime, and more to break down those exciting instances where fans were right on the money.
Wait, but where's our real dad and our real Morty?
Buried in the backyard?
That's what the possums are after.
Get Out is a sequel to Being John Malkovich. Get Out.
I know. Oh, no. Okay, look, I'm trying to work towards this. Look, what I'm about to tell you gonna sound crazy. You ready?
Sorry. Try me.
Okay, this one is almost too ludicrous to actually be true. But when the creator confirms it, can we really argue?
Can I be anybody that I want to be?
Well, actually, you can be John Malkovich.
It's perfect. It's my second choice, but it's wonderful.
This theory stems from the movie's inclusion of shared actor Catherine Keener. Supposedly, Keener plays the same character who, after having experience managing a business whereby people can enter and control the mind of John Malkovich, takes on a new identity and teams with the elders to shake things up. She marries into the Armitage family, who has experience with neurosurgery, and together they're able to perfect the process and start importing people into black bodies on a wide scale.
Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Ludicrous, yes, but Get Out creator Jordan Peele has been quoted as saying, "As far as I'm concerned, it's true." So, there you go.
And don't ever say that I don't do nothing for you.
Richie is gay. It. This theory actually goes all the way back to the original Stephen King novel.
Hey Eddie, these are birth control pills?
Yeah, and I'm saving it for your sister. This is private stuff.
Readers inferred Richie Tozier's playful ribbing of Eddie Kaspbrak as being more than friendly, even though King didn't intentionally write it that way. The theory resurfaced in 2017 with the advent of the first theatrical adaptation.
Are you serious?
Doesn't smell like caca to me, senor.
Okay, I can smell that from here.
It's probably just your breath wafting back into your face.
With the release of 2019's It Chapter 2, Richie's sexuality was indeed confirmed. Not only that, but it all but solidified the notion that Richie indeed had feelings for Eddie prior to the latter's death.
Who stabbed Bowers with a knife he pulled out of his own face? Also me. Who married a woman 10 times his own body mass? Me. Yeah. You're braver than you think.
Though King's been known to criticise major changes in his adaptations, he actually approved of the official inclusion, calling the added character detail kind of genius. It just goes to show that stories are constantly evolving, often for the better.
Be who you want to be. Be proud.
Split takes place in the Unbreakable universe. Split. For many, the release of 2016's Split marked a return to form for writer-director M. Night Shyamalan. For some, they suspected beforehand that it was a backdoor sequel to 2000's Unbreakable.
I almost gave up hope. There were so many times I questioned myself. I killed all those people. But I found you.
While Split is at heart a standalone psychological thriller, the fact that it centres on a killer with dissociative identity disorder, with one personality able to alter physical makeup and imbue superhuman abilities, had people wondering.
This is so cool. Ah, ha, ha. They're gonna believe we exist now, right?
They're gonna have to.
Seeing as talks of a sequel to Shyamalan's grounded superhero movie Unbreakable were heating up around the same time, fans wondered if that and Split were one and the same. Thankfully, the secret was well kept for most audiences, so the appearance of Bruce Willis's David Dunn at the end remained a surprise.
Is this like that crazy guy in the wheelchair that they put away 15 years ago? And they gave him a funny name, too. What was it?
Mr. Glass.
Destination 5 is a prequel, Final Destination 5. You'd think a movie called Final Destination 5 would follow up the events of the first 4, but that's just what producers were counting on when they released it in 2011.
We all gotta get off.
What are you talking about?
The bridge is gonna collapse.
What?
We're all gonna die.
Though the movie goes through the motions of a regular Final Destination film, the final scene reveals it takes place in the year of 2000, and that the main protagonists are actually on the doomed Flight 180 from the original film.
Get on the wheel! Get on the wheel! You understand? Everybody just stay where you are.
What's all that about?
I have no idea.
It's a neat twist, and the movie surprisingly earned the highest marks of the franchise. Still, you can't keep deductive fans down, as this plot point became a popular theory online beforehand. By the time they saw the movie and noticed subtle clues like out-of-date license plates, they knew the reveal was imminent.
No.
Oh my God!
Lawrence Gordon became an accomplice, Saw. The Saw franchise saw 7 movies released every October between 2004 and 2010, but it wasn't until the supposed final chapter that the most long-standing question got answered. What happened to Dr. Gordon?
I'm gonna kill you, you sick asshole!
In one of the most shocking endings in movie history, the original Saw sees Gordon amputate his foot and crawl away in search of help. The idea of Gordon bleeding out seemed anticlimactic to fans, so his survival made the most sense. However, seeing as he'd need immediate medical attention and the fact that the bathroom never gets discovered led fans to believe he was helped by his very captors. And since Jigsaw recruits multiple victims, it made sense Gordon would join the team with a new lease on life. Sure enough.
No!
Game over.
No!
Jesus Christ was an engineer, Prometheus. This revelation doesn't actually come about in the film itself, and it would frankly be quite crazy if it did, but it has been confirmed by director Ridley Scott all the same.
Can you imagine how disappointing it would be for you to hear the same thing from your creator?
I guess it's a good thing you can't be disappointed.
In this sci-fi/horror prequel to the Alien franchise, it's revealed that humanity was planted by a biologically similar extraterrestrial race known as the Engineers. About 2,000 years before the film's events, Engineers attempted to wipe out humanity, but failed to even make the trip to Earth.
How long has it been dead?
2,000 years, give or take.
Timeline-wise, fans theorise this was in conjunction with the days of Jesus Christ. Indeed, Scott later clarified that the attempted genocide would have been in response to humans crucifying an engineer emissary. But Scott later removed this detail for being a little too on the nose.
It is New Year's Day, the year of our Lord, 2094. My name is Elizabeth Shaw, last survivor of the Prometheus. And I'm still searching.
Jack Torrance is the reincarnated caretaker, The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
The Shining is one of those movies that transcends any one interpretation, perhaps even of its writer-director. But for the sake of this list, we'll defer to Stanley Kubrick's statements circa 1982.
Words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of wisdom.
Though the film's classic status took time to develop, hardcore cinephiles were already dissecting it. In this case, some took Jack Torrance's appearance in a photograph taken at the Overlook in 1921 as an indication that he was a direct reincarnation of a previous caretaker.
I'm sorry to differ with you, sir. But you are the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker.
While others infer other things, like Jack was instead absorbed into the hotel, Kubrick was actually a proponent of the reincarnation theory. While his take certainly holds more weight than others, we'll always love ruminating on multiple interpretations with this endlessly mystifying film.
The death of Han Solo, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Let's be real, we smelled this one from far off.
Han Solo. I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Harrison Ford's gripes with his character on Star Wars are long-standing, so it made sense that he campaigned to have Han put to rest. He even expressed his decades-long campaign to kill off Han in an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
You work for like 25 years for the company.
Yeah.
You do your best. You show up every day. You do your job. And then they just let you go.
So when it came out that Han Solo was returning in The Force Awakens, one of the first ideas espoused by fans was that it was likely the final appearance for the scruffy-looking space smuggler. Ultimately, director J.J. Abrams obliged the actor's request, giving Solo the epitaph Ford longed for.
Thank you.
Darth Maul lives on. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Although he spoke only 31 words in The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul emerged as one of the few appreciated characters from the first Star Wars prequel.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Darth Maul was so adored that fans had difficulty accepting his death, even though he was cut in two by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Many wishfully theorized that by some miracle, he had made it out alive. This hope turned into fact as the Star Wars cinematic universe expanded.
You have a brother.
A brother? But all of my kin were killed.
Not all of them. He lives in the Outer Rim, in exile.
Darth Maul got a new lease on life in the animated show Star Wars: The Clone Wars. But that wasn't it for Darth. He's made additional appearances in Star Wars Rebels and Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Kira, you and I will be working much more closely from now on.
Vader's appearance in Rogue One. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Announcements of Rogue One's timeline built heavy anticipation surrounding the potential role of Darth Vader.
Lord Vader.
You seem unsettled.
No, just pressed for time. There's a great many things to attend to.
The film's narrative centers on the rebellion's plot to steal the Death Star plans. That's all it took for fans to begin piecing together their theories on how they felt Vader would be portrayed. The predictions turned out to be wildly accurate. Rumors suggested that, in line with the film's grittier tone, Vader would be displayed as more of a vivacious, ruthless, and terrifying warrior. And they got what they wished for. They also clairvoyantly predicted that Rogue One would end right where A New Hope kicked off, with Vader hunting down Princess Leia's ship.
The transmission we received. What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Leia's Force potential. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Perhaps one of the oldest running Star Wars fan theories is Leia's ability to use the Force.
Her resistance to the mind probe is considerable. It'll be some time before we can extract any information from her.
The original trilogy dropped a handful of hints, such as her resistance to the Empire's mind probe, or her ability to sense Luke when he was near. We knew the Force ran strong in her family, but it wasn't until The Last Jedi that we got confirmation of her abilities, when Leia used the Force to fly through space. The revelation left some fans a bit baffled, as it felt like a wild shift from vague Force sensitivity to immense powers. It later turned out that Leia had trained under Luke before choosing a different path.
Leia told me that she had sensed the death of her son at the end of her Jedi path.
She surrendered her saber to me and said that one day it would be picked up again by someone who would finish her journey.
Luke exiled himself. Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens. The trailer for The Force Awakens left fans with a burning question. Where's Luke? While a few theories jostled for support, the one that became dominant was that Luke had gone into self-imposed exile.
Luke Skywalker. I thought he was a myth.
This was largely based on an article published on Making Star Wars, in which editor-in-chief Jason Ward said that friends in the know had told him crucial plot elements. Luke had become so powerful, he said, that he began to lose control of his Force abilities. As it turns out, Luke abandoned the galaxy for very different reasons.
He was training a new generation of Jedi. One boy, an apprentice, turned against him, destroyed it all. Luke felt responsible. He just walked away from everything.
However, it was true that he went into exile. Boba Fett lives. Star Wars Episode 6: Return of the Jedi. When Boba Fett disappeared into the maw of the Sarlacc in Return of the Jedi, the fanbase refused to accept that the galaxy's most beloved bounty hunter could go so gently into his good night.
After a beat, the gloved Mandalorian armor gauntlet of Boba Fett grabs onto the sand outside the Sarlacc pit, and the feared bounty hunter pulls himself from the maw of the sand beast.
For years, fans brooded over their belief in his resurrection, citing C-3PO's observation about the Sarlacc's slow digestive tract.
In his belly you will find a new definition of pain and suffering, as you are slowly digested over 1,000 years.
Then one fateful day, Star Wars historian J.W. Rinsler revealed that George Lucas himself had confirmed that Boba lived on. For fandom, the word of Lucas was equivalent to ex cathedra, and it put the matter of Fett's survival to rest for good. The Death Star's design. Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
The target area is only 2 meters wide. It's a small thermal exhaust port right below the main port. The shaft leads directly to the reactor system. A precise hit will start a chain reaction which should destroy the station.
How could a moon-sized space fortress have such a fatal flaw? It's a question that has plagued Star Wars fans for a long, long time.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
Ever since the first Star Wars film graced the silver screen, viewers have flung theories far and wide, attempting to explain how the Empire could overlook something so critical. One theory argued that the Death Star's flawed design was intentional, resulting from an inside job.
I've placed a weakness deep within the system, a flaw so small and powerful they will never find it.
After decades of wondering, Rogue One finally confirmed the theory and identified the architect. The movie reveals how the flaw was a trap planted by an Imperial scientist who came to realize the Empire's wicked intentions with the space station he was ordered to build.
The reactor module, that's the key. That's the place I've laid my trap. It's well hidden and unstable. One blast to any part of it will destroy the entire station.
Satoko's to blame. Higurashi, when they cry, go. These guys have a real nasty habit of getting stuck in murderous time loops. Though in their defense, this time it was totally Satoko's fault. Though she spent the first few seasons as victim fodder alongside the others, the Go series had a few early signs that pointed to her villainy. So even among the blood, guts, and other dismembered body parts, most fans found enough evidence for a rather quick conviction. At first it seemed a bit far-fetched, given Satoko's mostly sweet disposition, but that just made the inevitable reveal all the more terrifying. It's safe to say she threw non-believers for a loop in more ways than one. Gohan Blanco, Dragon Ball franchise.
How's that?
So is this what you wanted to see?
That's perfect, Gohan.
All things considered, it's not too surprising that most well-researched fan theories end up at least partially true. What's completely unprecedented is for a meme to do the same. Fan headcanon during the Tournament of Power believed that Gohan would unlock a new form with white hair to once again become the series' protagonist, a form known as Gohan Blanco. It was just that, a name with no real credibility in canon beyond a few cheeky fan gags.
Gohan!
Of course, no one back then could have known that Gohan's next transformation would actually give him white hair. Even though the new form is technically called Gohan Beast, for most fans, this is the true debut of Gohan Blanco in all his glory. It's all the cooler because no one ever expected the white hair to actually come true. Titanic revelation, Attack on Titan.
じゃあ、エレンはどこにいるってんだ?
As if the show didn't have a behemoth-sized following already, the introduction of Titan shifters set the fanbase into an utter frenzy. With so many minds at work, deducing the likely candidates became as obvious as an actual approaching Titan. To start, Reiner and Berthold had a suspiciously overwrought reaction to the Beast Titan's entrance. That's when, compounded with their lack of internal monologue and murky motivations, only solidified what most had already deduced, that these two were the armored and colossal titans respectively. At a certain point, it became less a theory and more of a hope. After all, there was really no satisfying way they could have been anyone else. A rivalry's end. Mobile Suit Gundam franchise.
Lala Soon was a young woman who may very well have become a mother to me. You took away her life, so don't you dare judge me! Mother?
The two adversaries went out with an actual blaze of glory, or at least that's what it seemed. The 1988 film Char's Counterattack culminated the iconic rivalry between Char and Amuro with a real bang. And then, well, nothing. The credits rolled, leaving the fates of both its legendary leads up for interpretation. Most viewers rightfully assumed they were both goners, since it would have been a disservice to the climactic battle to have them both survive. However, their widely accepted deaths were only confirmed in 2010's Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. There they returned as spirits to impart some last words of wisdom before figuratively and literally saying farewell to the decade-spanning fan theory. Beneath the Mask, Naruto Shippuden. The only real question revolving Toby's identity is why he bothered wearing a mask at all. For one, the fact he immediately revealed his Sharingan to Kakashi massively thinned the suspect pool. Secondly, his name was nearly a complete anagram of the copy ninja's fallen comrade, Obito, who seemingly died off-screen several years prior. Seriously, he could have at least tried a little harder with the name. Even when Toby tried to pass himself off as Madara, his continued use of the mask made it all too obvious that the whole thing was a poorly disguised ruse. As it stands, this was less of a fan theory and more of an eye-rolling inevitability. Todoroki Family Tree, My Hero Academia. In the age of social media, anime fans have developed their own superpowered quirk of accurately predicting massive plot twists. But even still, this one lit a fuse incredibly early. Before Toya Todoroki had even name-dropped, fans deduced that the fire-wielding Darby and Shoto's inexplicably missing brother were one and the same.
No. になって強敵倒したところで心から消えるはずないだろ。お母さんの悲鳴、ショートの泣き声、トヤ兄のこともさ。
These subtle bits of foreshadowing over the years only fanned the flames into an inferno of fan expectation. By the time Darby finally revealed his true lineage, the entire fandom burned with the satisfaction of a theory proved right. That's noteworthy on its own, but the fact the prediction emerged as early as it did puts it in a league of its own.
そうやって立派な名前があるんだから。
Not a remake. Rebuild of Evangelion series.
できないよ。殺したってできないよ。
お前が死ぬぞ。
いいよ。明日を殺すよりはいい。
Admittedly, Evangelion isn't the easiest show to analyze, but one thing has always been abundantly clear: Neon Genesis Evangelion doesn't need a remake. So the film series played on those exact expectations. What began as a near shot-for-shot remake soon included a few new scenes, then a new character, and then an entirely new storyline altogether. But as some fans realized early on, the clues were always there.
バック役が増えてる。信用減ってるのね、私たち。
Even in its seemingly faithful to a fault story structure, there were the tiniest Easter eggs that implied this was not just an alternate retelling. The result is a double whammy. Fans had their suspicions confirmed, and they got an exciting new chapter in the series at the same time.
父さん、もうやめようよ。
なぜだ。なぜシンジがここにいる。
父さんのことが知りたいから。
All Bonds, GoldenEye 007. All it takes is a couple of ambiguous rumors to spark a theory. Before us kids had the good old internets, rumor had it that you can play as all of the different Bond actors in GoldenEye's multiplayer: Connery, Moore, Dalton, and of course, Brosnan. However, this was actually just an April Fool's prank by Electronic Gaming Monthly. That is until Rare came out and said otherwise. As it turns out, All Bonds mode was supposed to be in the final version of the game, but it didn't make the cut for, quote, various reasons. Which explains why a Game Shark allows you to see images of past Bonds in the character selection screen. The Shinra Company, Final Fantasy VII. Among the many connections of the different Final Fantasy story arcs, this one was one of the most shocking. In Final Fantasy X2, one of the main characters is named Shinra. Does that name sound familiar? Well, for those of you who haven't played Final Fantasy VII, the Shinra Company was essentially a manufacturer of Mako energy and easily accessible electricity. Scenario writer Kazushige Nojima created the Shinra character, thinking that Shinra would go on to start the big company. So we'll just go ahead and take that as part of the official canon for now.
I'm just a kid.
Multiple timelines, the Legend of Zelda series. This one caused quite a number of headaches among Zelda fans. For some time, we were left in the dark wondering which games across the series happened at which point in Link's life, or lives. Is there a possibility that there are multiple Links? Well, the answers were given when Dark Horse Comics published Hyrule Historia, a book written by Shigeru Miyamoto, Eiji Aonuma, and Akira Himekawa. The chart confirms what had long been the prevailing theory amongst fans, that not all of the games take place in a single timeline, and that the ending of Ocarina of Time had something to do with it. It's a little complex to explain, but it's cool to see Nintendo help clarify things. Symmetra is on the spectrum. Overwatch.
From order springs harmony.
Representation is important in video games. It can allow players to feel a connection with their favorite characters. It's something that they can relate to with common characteristics, and these details help more people feel included in the games they play. Our lovely Indian architect required a little more investigating though. Fans had reason to believe that Symmetra was possibly autistic, and when the comic A Better World was released, Symmetra said something about being on the spectrum. When director Jeff Kaplan confirmed that she was indeed autistic, he said, She does a great job at representing just how awesome someone with autism can be.
We must turn them back. Turret online.
It was all a play. Super Mario Bros. 3. The answer to this was a long time coming. You ever wondered why Super Mario Bros. 3 opens with a curtain? And why are the platforms hanging from the top of the screen? It's almost as if everything is just a big stage play. It's probably one of the most obvious theories on this list, but it felt like an eternity before we got a straight answer from Shigeru Miyamoto. In 2015, during an interview with Nintendo UK, Miyamoto was asked if the game was a play the whole time, answering with a simple nod. Finally. Giovanni's son, Pokemon series. You know, sometimes we don't really care about our rivals all that much, so long as we shut their big mouths in a Pokemon battle. Yet there's something oddly intriguing about our rival, Silver, in Pokemon Gold and Silver. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, a Team Rocket scientist will speculate if Red is Giovanni's son, before correcting himself and mentioning that Giovanni's son has red hair. The idea that Silver is Giovanni's son was only solidified when Heart Gold and Soul Silver hosted a promotional event, where Celebi can take the player to a flashback of Giovanni abandoning his son. What a sorrowful secret. Mary's Body, Silent Hill 2.
You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
This was as big of a twist as an M. Night Shyamalan movie. How can it be possible to receive a letter from your wife when she's been dead for the past 3 years? Trick question, kids. You can't. Anyways, Silent Hill 2 was confusing in its multiple endings, especially with the in the water ending. While most fans believe Mary's body has been in the trunk the whole time, they only really got part of the truth. However, designer Masahiro Ito tweeted out that Mary's body was actually in the back seat of James's car, so not the trunk. You know, you'd think that James would notice something like that.
I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
Sonic meets MJ. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Does this music sound familiar? Well, many gamers in the mid-90s certainly thought so, as many were led to believe that the legendary pop star Michael Jackson might have worked with Sega on the soundtrack for Sonic 3. Developers of this classic platformer have come out to say that MJ did work on the game, namely the Carnival Night Zone music, but it wasn't for as long as one might think. The King of Pop was uncredited and left the project due to the sexual abuse allegations against him at the time, so many of the songs had to be reworked. Yet, somehow fans were still able to identify Jackson's unique style.
Red Skull's survival. Avengers Infinity War. At the end of the first Avenger, it seemed like Johann Schmidt got what was coming to him when the Tesseract disintegrated him. However, fans weren't convinced they'd seen the last of the Red Skull. When the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, was shown to be able to teleport people and open portals, that was all the evidence they needed. Fans knew he'd pop up again somewhere, only having been teleported, but no one could have guessed he'd been transported to the planet Vormir to become the guardian of another Infinity Stone. Even though Hugo Weaving didn't return for the role, it was a nice surprise to see the villain appear in Infinity War.
We are all wrong.
Jake Lockley is here. Moon Knight. The MCU has made several changes when it comes to character history. In Moon Knight, we saw Stephen Grant discover he has an alternate personality to Mark Spector. While casual viewers enjoyed watching the dynamic between two Oscar Isaacs, comic readers knew the character was one personality short.
Oh God. Steven, what did you do? I swear it wasn't me. Then who was it?
When the show began airing, it seemed like Marvel was only going to include the two until hints towards the third started rolling in. It became a game to theorize which moments Jake could have had control over. Episode 4's Asylum twist offered the biggest clue. A second sarcophagus made it all but clear there was a third personality. Jake Lockley's existence was finally confirmed in the finale's mid-credits scene.
Hoy te toca perder.
Wait.
Number 8. Hulk in the Hulkbuster.
Avengers Infinity War.
Iron Man's Hulkbuster armor made its glorious debut in Age of Ultron, where Tony used it to subdue a mind-altered Hulk. Among the many hype-inducing shots from Infinity War's first trailer, fans were delighted to see the armor make a return. Then began the theorizing. It didn't seem likely Tony would need it for the Hulk again, considering Bruce's arc in Thor Ragnarok. While several characters were guessed to be the operator, most evidence pointed towards Hulk himself. This included an earlier shot in the trailer showing Bruce next to one of the suit's arms. When Infinity War released, the theory was proven true.
Wow, this is amazing, man! It's like being the Hulk, not actually.
Although he only needed it because his alter ego refused to come out.
You guys are so screwed now!
King Thor. Thor Ragnarok. When Thor debuted in the MCU, he craved the chance to one day be king of Asgard. But some hard-learned lessons made him realize he didn't want it.
Father, I cannot be king of Asgard. I will protect Asgard and all the realms with my last and every breath, but I cannot do so from that chair.
As Ragnarok approached, some fans theorized that he'd be forced onto the throne with the passing of his father, Odin. Ragnarok is an important event in Norse myth, detailing the destruction of Asgard and the death of Odin, among many other deities. Plus, with the goddess of death, Hela, as the villain, it seemed like a safe bet. In the movie, Odin does die, albeit peacefully, leaving Thor to be crowned as king by the end.
So, King of Asgard.
However, he'd soon give up the crown to Valkyrie, who'd rule over New Asgard.
Do people need a king?
No, they already have one.
That's funny.
Peter Parker's first appearance. Iron Man 2. One of the most widespread MCU fan theories stated that Peter Parker had been in the MCU far longer than we were told.
Hey, buddy. This is Larry. Hey, the Oracle of Oracle. What a pleasure. Nice to see you.
During the climax of Iron Man 2, Tony swoops down to save a kid from a hammer drone.
Nice work, kid.
Though he's wearing a mask, the theory that this boy is actually Peter got a lot of love from fans. It made sense too. The Stark Expo was held in Queens, Peter's hometown, and the boy's age matched how old Peter would have been around that time.
Is it for me? Happy, wait. This is insane. Look at this thing. Look at the eyes. This is the greatest day of my life.
While promoting Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland confirmed that the theory was indeed true, even citing producer Kevin Feige. It was nice to have an earlier connection between the two heroes, even a small one.
You know what? We should make an alibi video for your aunt. Anyway, you ready?
Alibi?
Rolling? Yeah, get the frame. Hey, May. How you doing? What are you wearing? Something skimpy, I hope.
Planet Hulk. Thor Ragnarok. At the end of Age of Ultron, Hulk flew off in a Quinjet, leaving his teammates behind.
So help me out. I need you.
His exit caused many to speculate where we might see him next. Despite actively not showing him leave Earth's atmosphere, many fans hoped for a Planet Hulk adaptation. With Universal still owning the distribution rights to solo Hulk films, some guessed we'd see him in Thor Ragnarok after he was confirmed to not appear in Civil War. Though Marvel couldn't do the exact storyline, elements from the popular comic run did appear in Ragnarok. These include the planet Sakaar and Hulk as a gladiator, though most of his storyline was completely different.
What's this? Banner? Hey. You alright? Banner? Shh. Sun's going down. Sun's going down. That's it. Breathe.
Spider-Man's debut, Captain America: Civil War. When The Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed to meet Sony's expectations, the studio struck a deal with Marvel to bring the hero into the MCU.
Hey, I'm Peter.
Tony.
What are you doing here?
It's about time we met.
Being one of Marvel's most cherished characters, fans immediately began theorizing about which movie he'd make his debut in. The popular consensus was Captain America: Civil War.
Underoos!
However, some even theorized about this before Sony and Marvel's deal, simply based on how big of a role he played in the original comic. Although Civil War released less than a year after Tom Holland's official casting, that's exactly where he debuted.
Captain? Big fan of Spider-Man?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Just...
Hey, everyone.
Good job.
It's unfortunate that another film's poor reception helped this happen, but we were ecstatic to see him.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
Stan and the Watchers, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The legendary Stan Lee began making cameos in Marvel movies long before the MCU, but fans were happy to see him keep with the tradition.
Blondie, stop trying to scare us. Come on.
It's all right.
Excelsior.
His constant appearances birthed the popular theory that he wasn't just making cameos, but playing the same character across all movies.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank. You're in the right place. Thank you for that.
More notably, fans believed him to be Uatu, member of a race called Watchers that witnessed but didn't interfere with events across the multiverse. This theory ended up coming true, sort of.
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 showed that while he wasn't Uatu, he was the same character, and he did inform the Watchers about events within the MCU.
Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How will I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys. Oh, gee.
The actual Uatu wouldn't appear until the Disney Plus series, What If?
Please, fix this.
The same way you fixed Christine.
I was wrong,
You were warned.
Cap picking up the hammer. Avengers Endgame. While Mjolnir will always be connected to Thor, there are a handful of other characters that have wielded the mighty weapon in the comics. Some fans may have wondered if we'd ever see such an occurrence in the MCU, and they got their first tease in Age of Ultron.
Come on, Cap.
Nothing.
While celebrating a victory, the Avengers tested if any of them could pick it up. Cap producing a small budge led many to believe he'd one day wield it. Though Vision ended up lifting it later, that tease made it clear to many that it was only a matter of time before Steve showed his worthiness. In one of the franchise's most cheer-worthy moments, Cap made all our wishes come true in Endgame.
No, give me that. You have the little one.
The Quantum Realm. Avengers Endgame. First introduced in Ant-Man, the Quantum Realm played a much bigger role than many may have initially guessed.
Everything that you know and love.
When Scott Lang entered the extremely small universe, many fans correctly guessed this would lead to the eventual rescue of Janet Van Dyne. That came to be in its sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. But the theorizing about the importance of the Quantum Realm didn't stop there. Following her rescue, Janet made mention of the Quantum Realm's time capabilities.
Also, make sure you stay out of the tardigrade fields. They're cute, but they'll eat you. And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
So when Thanos snapped out half of existence, fans then guessed that the Quantum Realm would be used for time travel to undo his actions. When Endgame released, those fans were proven right.
I was in a place called the Quantum Realm. And the Quantum Realm is like its own microscopic universe. To get in there, you have to be incredibly small.
There is a UFO under Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls. If you've ever wondered why the cliffs around Gravity Falls are oddly shaped, this theory has the answers you're looking for. Keen-minded fans pointed out that the odd clefts in the cliffs might have been caused by a UFO. In a town as odd as Gravity Falls, not only is this hypothesis not out of place, but also, as fate would have it, true. While it's unknown whether the UFO is the cause of the paranormal or was drawn to the town because of it, it is an exciting prospect that it exists. In fact, the parts for Stanford's machine came from crash site Omega, where the UFO collided with the ground. Stan has a twin. Gravity Falls. Throughout the run of Gravity Falls, a great many things just didn't add up for viewers, and upon watching the show more closely, people began identifying things that suggested that there was more to Grunkle Stan's mysterious ways than the eccentricities of an old man. From the license plate of his car, to pairs of glasses, to the man who appears in flashbacks, it was soon thought that perhaps the Stan we thought we knew was not himself at all.
Stanley? What's going on in here?
With the suggestion that he might have a twin, certain clues began falling into place, and lo and behold, in one of the biggest plot twists in the show, Stan's twin brother falls out of an interdimensional portal.
Is this the part where one of us faints?
How's that for a good guess?
Brother! Oh, ow!
Cassandra's mother, Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. Fans of Tangled were delighted to hear that Rapunzel and Eugene's adventures would continue in this series. They were joined by several new characters, including Cassandra, handmaiden and close friend to Rapunzel.
Now listen, kid, we need your help, but let me make something clear. What happens here stays here. You got it?
At the end of the second season, Cassandra betrayed Rapunzel, absorbing a powerful magical artifact called the Moonstone.
Cassandra? What are you doing?
I'm fulfilling my destiny.
Fans speculated that Cassandra might in fact be Mother Gothel's biological daughter. She did bear a striking resemblance to Tangled's villain. When Season 3 began airing, they were proven correct. Cassandra was manipulated by an ancient demon, who showed her how Mother Gothel abandoned her when she kidnapped Rapunzel. Emperor Belos's Humanity, The Owl House. This fantasy series from Disney follows Luz, a young girl accidentally transported from our world into the demon realm. As she tries to get home, she allies herself with witches and monsters in an attempt to stop the villainous Emperor Belos. The ruler of the Boiling Isles was said to be the most powerful magical user in the land, with several covens of witches to command.
Bring the Owl Lady to me by twilight. She'll join the Emperor's coven, and in return, I'll heal her little curse.
However, it was later revealed that Belos was not a witch, but another human.
Yes, this has gone on longer than I'd have liked, but no one ever said being a witch hunter was easy.
Some eagle-eyed and eared fans pieced this together based on Belos's actions and words, such as his knowledge of where the entrance to the human realm was. However, there was still a lot to his backstory that fans couldn't have guessed.
Why? Why go through all this?
I'll do anything to save humanity from evil.
Not our Jerry, Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is surrounded by countless fan theories, some more outrageous than others. Way back in the Season 2 episode, Morty Night Run, Rick dropped Jerry off at Jerry Burrito, a daycare for Jerrys, while their Ricks and Mortys were out on missions.
I don't know how this works. Help me! Hey, what the hell?
At the end, we got a throwaway joke about two Ricks maybe mixing up their Jerrys.
Whatever. Wait, what?
All right, come on, Jerry.
However, many fans guessed this was not a throwaway joke at all. It wasn't until the Season 6 premiere, 7 years later, that this was confirmed to be true. As Rick attempted to fix the portal gun problem from Season 5's Fallout, he caused everyone to be transported back to their original universe. Before Jerry left, he and the fans realized exactly what had happened.
How did I end up not in my own universe? Oh my god, the Jerry Burrito.
Oh, the Jerry Burrito. Deep cut.
Laser Blast, double whammy. Okay, KO, let's be heroes. In the near future, young KO dreams of becoming the world's greatest hero while working at a hero supply shop. Owner of the shop, Mr. Gar, gave up his superheroing days after one of his teammates went missing in action. As it would be revealed later, Laser Blast didn't actually disappear, but was hiding under everyone's noses as the villain Professor Venomous. Not only that, but the same Season 3 episode revealed that Laser Blast was KO's father.
Boy, take a good look. I am him.
Many fans had guessed KO's parentage based on his mother dating Laser Blast before he disappeared. As for the Professor Venomous twist, design similarities led some fans to guess they were brothers, while others took the extra step, concluding they were the same person.
Sorry, KO. I am your father.
No!
Leela's parentage, Futurama. After accidentally freezing himself, Fry awakens in New York City 1,000 years later. One of the first people he meets is Leela, who tells Fry that she's an orphaned alien.
My parents abandoned me here as a baby, and I don't even know what galaxy they were from.
However, that's proven false in Season 4. She's actually a mutant whose parents and many like them live in the sewers beneath the city.
So, I'm not an alien? I'm a mutant?
We never wanted you to know.
While this came as a surprise to many, a few others caught on early. The Mutant Society was introduced in Season 2, and in the background of one scene, you could spot two people who look remarkably like Leela. From then on, they knew a big reveal must be coming. There's also an even earlier, subtler tease in the Season 1 episode, Fear of a Bot Planet.
Look, one eye. Count them. One, not human.
The humans are hereby sentenced to live as robots live on Earth.
The Spear of Selene, DuckTales. The DuckTales reboot has some great character revelations, some of which were predicted by fans. Some viewers may have picked up on there being more to Webby than being Mrs. Beakley's granddaughter.
Webby is Scrooge's daughter? Bless me bagpipes.
However, the biggest mystery the show chronicled early on was the Spear of Selene. In a note left by the triplets' missing mother Della, she apologized to Scrooge for taking the spear. While the kids assumed this clue referred to a literal spear, they then found out that definitively wasn't the case. Not only that, but it wasn't any kind of artifact.
Maybe the spear isn't an artifact. Maybe it's something else.
Your mom did love a good mystery.
One fan theory claimed the spear must be a ship, and that Della had gotten lost exploring space. Towards the end of the first season, this was proven true.
The rocket and your mother were lost to the inky abyss of space.
Garnet is a fusion, Steven Universe. In Steven Universe, two gems can fuse together to become more powerful. But throughout the first season, that's shown to be a temporary and sometimes toxic occurrence. Additionally, it seemed the less stable the relationship, the more eyes and appendages.
Oh, you're just too much. Maybe you're just too little.
None of this stopped the spread of a popular Garnet theory, though. Fans believed Garnet to be a permanent fusion, pointing to her having 2 gems and 3 eyes as evidence enough. So then, how could she stay in this form for such a long period? Every other time, the effort of fusing had been too much to keep up. The answer came in the Season 1 finale. The fan theory was proven true, as Ruby and Sapphire, 2 gems in love, refused back into Garnet.
Steven! Thank you.
Garnet, you're a fusion?
The Mushroom War, Adventure Time. At first glance, Adventure Time appears to take place in a silly fantasy land with no ties to reality. In actuality, it's the outcome of nuclear fallout on Earth 1,000 years prior. Creator Pendleton Ward first came up with a post-apocalyptic spin during a Season 1 episode that involved frozen businessmen.
I remember business.
From there, hints of the past civilization were doled out, albeit sparingly. Still, some fans picked up on them and began theorizing not only about nuclear fallout, but when it could have taken place. As Adventure Time went on, more about the history of the land of Oo was revealed.
Frightful bombs poised to bathe the land in mutagenic horror.
It was eventually confirmed that humanity had nuked the planet in a world-ending war, with Marceline and the Ice King being survivors of it.
Yeah!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. The author of the journals, Gravity Falls. To be fair, Gravity Falls was a show built for theorizing. Clues and puzzles were hidden throughout the show, making it a mystery viewers could enjoy on different levels. Its key conundrum was the author of the journals, which documented all kinds of bizarre occurrences and creatures around the town.
Let's see. Barf Fairy?
Yeah!
There was also Grunkle Stan, who dismissed the children's notions of strangeness but acted pretty bizarrely himself. By piecing together a ton of background details, including flashback appearances of Stan, fans deduced he had a twin. Given Stan's collecting of the journals, that twin had to be the mysterious author.
After all these years, finally, we have them all.
Lo and behold, Stanford Pines was introduced in Season 2 and confirmed the theory.
Who is that? The author of the journals. My brother.
Which of these fan theories did you put your faith into? Let us know in the comments.
Fine, I can make it on my own. I don't need you. I don't need anyone.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.